I mean, part of me does want to tell you off. Because you're just like these typical men who, you, you know, God blesses you with a talent. And I guess maybe when you were younger, you were maybe did wrong or something. And somebody burnt you or whatever and dogged you. And so you're like on this payback trip. And you're like, yeah, when I come up one day, I'm going to get these bitches, or whatever it is you say. And you have got them all right. And, you know, what always intrigues me and what I'll never understand is why you left your first wife. I mean, your only wife. I mean, I don't know, she kind of looked, I'm not going to, you know, like, be rude or nothing, but I know she was, you know, kind of a little mannish looking or whatever. I don't know, maybe that was it, but they say that's what you like. And, you know, if the girl has to, you know, have a man looking body and a lot of muscles. And that's when I knew, you know, I was out the picture, because I'm not the athletic type, although I have an athletic body, which, you know, if I, you know, had worked out, I probably could look like that or whatever, but I'm not really, you know, up to being able to do all that with, you know, all the sicknesses I have, with all the problems, you know, that's another video. You know, I'm a person on Social Security, disability. As a matter of fact, I gotta fill out my papers tomorrow for my review, because they're trying to mess with me and trying to stop my Social Security. I have to fight the man. So I'm under a tremendous amount of stress. I mean, you think your thing you had today was bad. Well, think how I feel. I mean, at least you know you still getting paid. Well, I could be possibly not getting paid, okay? Because that's how hardcore these white supremacists and my former government bosses come down on me, okay? I've been fighting since 1990 just to have a stable job so that I can be independent. So it's hell, and that's another reason why I can't even be with the guys, because none of them really can understand, you know, what I'm going through. None of them want to protect me or support me, and, you know, being a targeted individual and all the hell I've been through working for over 9 different government agencies. I mean, I can't even begin to try to explain all that to a man and just have him even understand it. I mean, I had this one guy, I tried to tell him about it, and he was just laughing at me. He thought it was kind of funny that, you know, they wanted me to be a government sex slave, and it really hurt my feelings, and I didn't think he really took me serious. And then after that, I just didn't want to tell nobody anymore. And he was actually like the only guy I told, and I have never even told anyone because I was too scared. And I didn't tell any of my ex-boyfriends because I didn't want them to try to kill him or something, you know, for knowing too much. And I mean, it's not exactly the thing you want to tell a guy. You know, guess what? You know, and tell them that, and they're going to really look at you, and then they're going to think you're like a prostitute or something, and they're going to not have no respect for you. And, I mean, that's what they do. These men, that's why so much I want to have this sex slave TV show, to come on, if it's just like a documentary or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I think it should be actually a show that comes on weekly, because it's such a, you know, serious subject with so many people, you know, being caught up in the sex slavery industry. And so, I mean, I have a really strong passion for stuff, and I do things on my own. I mean, I try to develop this show, produce it, and direct it, everything. I mean, and I don't have a studio. I don't have all the stuff like Tyler Perry has, and he's, being funneled big time resources. I don't have all the stuff, that all these directors get who aren't making much of a difference. You don't see Tyler Perry trying to free the sex slaves. No, but he's going to get everything, Hollywood gives him, because, he's probably bringing in sex slaves, changing guys over to dressing like trannies and being, homosexuals or whatever, promoting that. Oh, so here I go, ranting and raving again. My blanket. I think I dropped it on the floor. Oh no, here it is. My feet get cold at night, so I have to put the blanket down. Another extra one on my feet. I noticed something was wrong. Okay. But I hope you don't mind me talking to you. I don't know, I've always felt kind of close with you. And I wanted to tell you the story before I go about this guy who reminds me of you. And I met him like in the 90s, and he said his name was Tyrone. And he was he looks just like you. Real good looking, handsome man. And I always remember his eyes, because that's really what the most you look like him. Your eyes, you have the same eyes. And I was introduced to him by a friend, one of my girlfriend's boyfriends. And he came over and visited me in this house that I lived in on Warner Street, because my girlfriend's mom was selling her house, and then she had 2 houses. So she was trying to get rid of the other one, and we were staying in it, while people were coming to look at it, while she had it up for sale. So he came over then, and we went on a date to a sandwich shop, which we used to have over here on Pearl Street, and it was called Hoagie's Corner. And I remember when we went in there, it was almost like he was famous, because everyone was looking at him, and I was used to the one who gets all the attention. And so I just recall, like, the girl he was even making the sandwich was like just dotting over him, and I just remember saying to myself, oh my God, everywhere I go with this guy, he's going to have so many women throwing themselves at him. I just can't take it. I'm going to have to get rid of him. And so I kind of made a mental note, that his time was up. So even though I really liked him a lot, and I was very much attracted to him. And so much that I knew I was not going to have sex with him. And I know it's kind of weird, but like the guys you really like, you don't want to have sex with, because you don't want to ruin it. And I'm not saying like I had sex with a lot of guys, so don't get me wrong, but it's just like the one you really like, you wait and you hold out and stuff, because you just want it to be so special. And so I was like, oh yeah, he's not getting none. And then when these girls were like all sweating him, and then so we went back to my house, and we kissed or whatever, but we didn't do nothing. And I was like, oh well, you can sleep in my bed, and I'll sleep on the couch, and and he was like, okay. And he was such a gentleman, and that's why I always picture him being you, babe. I don't know why, but I just do. And I just always see him like sleeping in my bed, and then me sleeping on the couch. And that was like the first time I ever slept on a couch. and I I was kind of like the man and he was the woman because I gave up my bed for him, you know, like the dude's supposed to do. And then I don't really remember nothing else, you know, because I just know we didn't have sex. And then I remember just asking about him once and saying, hey, have you talked to him or whatever or something. They were like, yeah, he's got some girl driving him around or something. And a white girl, whatever. And I was like, oh, wow. A white girl? Okay, go ahead. And that he lives in Seattle. And I was like, okay. So then one day when I was looking at you at a picture or something, and it just like clicked. And I was like, is this Tyrone? And I was like, no, it can't be Tyrone because his name is Alex. And so I said, well, maybe he gave me a fake name. Maybe he was just testing me to see, like, if I would like him if I didn't know he was, like, a celebrity or something. Because, you know, I had dated a lot of celebrities, and I kind of, like, had a reputation of dogging them. So maybe he was, like, protecting himself or whatever. I didn't know. And I just made up all these fantasies about that it was you and that we kissed and that I always remembered your lips and just how special it was. But then I kind of didn't really remember, but then I kind of like just kind of made it up in my head to remember because I don't really recall the kiss that much. But I could like visualize and like come up with this kiss like just by looking at your lips. I mean, how, you know, soft they look. And I think they probably would be perfect for mine. So I kind of just came up with this scenario, how this kiss would have been. But, you know, I don't want to keep talking about kiss. I probably said kiss like 10 times already. Oh no, look at me. Look at me. Okay, well, I hope everything goes great, and I'm going to let you go. And I'm just praying that we both make it through these struggles for this week, and how we'll look back one day and be like, oh, remember that week in 2013 and the last week of January, how we both went through hell and we survived it. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe one day I'll meet you, but, you know, I don't really go nowhere, so I probably won't. But, you know, if I ever did, I used to say, you know, I'd spit in your face, but maybe now I might just, you know, wink at you or something. But we'll always be cool and friends, and I'm glad that you at least got me thinking maybe one day I might want to date, but, you know, I doubt it, but, you know, at least I thought about it. And that's a start, you know, if you think about stuff, it's a movement towards something, and who knows, maybe one day I'll find a good man, and, you know, it's all up to God, because God, you know, leads your footsteps, and He knows who's right for you and stuff, and, you know, I'm looking for a really good Christian man, you know, who loves Jesus, and, you know, I'm understanding that. I'm not sure if you're, you know, if you're a Christian, because I heard you went to Christian school, but I don't know. I mean, I did see you do the devil sign a couple times, so I'm not really sure what's going on with you, but I'm just going to pray for you and hope that God leads your heart towards Jesus, and, you know, and that you do the right thing, and just know that I wish you the best, and hang in there and take care, and I'm sorry if this dragged on too long, but, you know, that's how I am. I talk a lot, and I make a lot of videos because I have so much to say, and I've been silent so long, you know, and I feel like I better just get off my chest before I die or something. So I'm glad I finally got to talk to you. And have a good night and sweet dreams. And know that the best is yet to come. And you can overcome the situation. And you can be a better player without the steroids. And I have so many ideas, I'd love to share with you. And, I'll make another video and talk to you about it. But I just don't like to tell everybody, because they don't need to know all those secrets. So, I'll find a way to, get it to you privately. Okay. So, I almost wanted to give you a kiss goodnight. I guess it's okay to kiss you. I just gave you a little kiss on the forehead or something. Okay. Good night, my friend, my buddy. And tell Tori I said what's up, and you better be treating her right. If I find out you pulling a George Clooney, I'm going to be pissed. I expect you to marry that broad. Make a good woman out of her and like straighten out your reputation. That's another tip I wanted to tell you. You need to settle down. Okay. Listen to me. I sound like an old fuddy-duddy grandma or something telling you what to do. I know that's probably why it wouldn't probably have worked, because our age difference. I never wanted to tell you. Then I'm a little bit too old for you. But I could be like a big sister or something. Okay. Well, good night. Bye, little brother.